Okay, welcome to the channel welcome to the channel if you are new here, and if you are not new here, welcome back. My name is Andrea and this is Hello Drea. Thank you so much for joining me today. To kick things off, I want to say that whatever you really want, you will gravitate to. Regardless of how difficult it is or what the circumstances are, you're going to find a way. And as much as we, hate capitalism or the way things function on a systemic level, I have to say that the one upside of capitalism is that it really forces you to choose what matters and what's important. Because if we all had unlimited resources and we all had whatever we want, I think some of us would get a lot of decision fatigue. And decision fatigue is basically when a lot of options are presented to you at once and it's exhausting just to even consider what you might want. Almost to the point where it's debilitating and you end up just really choosing nothing because you had so many options presented to you. So with that being said, because we have limited resources and, well, to some extent, tap into your abundance, tap into your higher self, and you will find that you have significantly less or no limitations. But just speaking on a realistic level, we have limitations within capitalism, and those limitations force us to decide what matters and what's important. Personally, I would love to sit here all day and make videos, but my channel isn't monetized yet, and so I have to do other things in order to get money. I have to dedicate my time to other things. So I wanted to preface with that, because when you're 18 or 19 and coming from a background where you don't have all of the privileges that maybe your classmates or your friends do, or even some of your family members, because that was the case for me. It felt like pretty much everyone I knew had something going for their lives that was a lot better than mine. And it's not that I was sitting around comparing myself to make excuses for myself or to feel bad, but the proof was in the pudding. I had a friend who his aunt helped him get a car. When it was time for me to get a car, I was rushed into that process, and I got what I could afford because I was rushed into that process and nobody was going to help me. Nobody was going to co-sign for me. And because I was rushed into that process and could only get what I could afford at the time, I ended up having all these other problems that would have been preventable had somebody stepped in and been like, okay, you just had a curfew a few months ago, so I'm not going to say, oh, you're grown now, hurry up and get your own resources. Because what's ironic about my particular situation is that I don't want to say my family, because it was really just one of my parents, but I'll say my family in order to not throw anyone under the bus. My family would be the biggest inhibitors of things that could help me to succeed. I remember, one of my parents had a problem with me looking for jobs and wanting to work early. And I understand that they wanted me to just stay a child as long as I could. But if you're wanting me to stay a child as long as I can, then you shouldn't be surprised at the results of me being infantilized my entire life. So turning 19 and then being told you need to hurry up and get a car, you need to hurry up and do all this stuff, It was just really like, it was really a shell shock for me because I was already in the process of trying to do all of those things. So it's not like it took a lot of convincing, to make me be responsible. I was already willing and able to some extent to be responsible, but I needed help. And the help that I needed was treated like a burden. And I'm watching my friends and my peers and, everyone else be celebrated for graduating high school. That is a major milestone. If you walk across the stage and get your diploma, it's a very big deal, especially if you've never seen it done before. It's a very big deal, and it just felt like the day I graduated, it felt like it didn't matter, Nobody showed up, no extended family, My parents came. I didn't have any extended family show up. One of my cousins left me on red when I invited her, which I felt like was very odd and immature in and of itself, because whatever issue we had with one another, it wasn't that deep. It wasn't deep enough for her to completely ignore the fact that I would have liked for her to be at this event. So it was really stupid, but that's how it goes. Like, a lot of my family is stupid. A lot of my family thinks that they really think on an individualistic level, to the point where they really don't consider their influence or the way that they make others feel, specifically me. So it just is what it is. My uncle, who had a job for this company for like 30 plus years, I asked him, is there any way that you could help get me on so that I could make some money so that I can move and go to school where I want to go to school? He basically just brushed me off, and I'm not trying to sound entitled. I'm just giving you examples of the fact that my situation was very. And to add a little more context to this, hi, this is editing Andrea. To add a little more context to this, in addition to him not helping me find a job, when I told him what city I was trying to move to, he threw salt. So in addition to not helping me, he was just kind of like, oh, are you sure you can make it there? And that was like the icing on top of the cake, like, whatever. Drastically different from other people around me. And I know that there were people going through worse as well. But unfortunately, and this is going to sound weird, it's like, if things are too bad for you, you can always get help. If things aren't bad at all, then you don't need any help. But if you're in that middle ground, and I feel like I was in that middle ground, to where it's not like I have no resources at all, but all of my resources are very exhausted, and they're all very much dependent on me and my actions, you can't get help. It's so weird. It's like, no, things aren't bad enough for you to need help. Things aren't good enough for you to have the help you need, but they're not bad enough for you to need help. It's really like mind-boggling, It's like, it's just disheartening, And so I say that to say, if you are 18, 19 years old and your family does not help you, for whatever reason, you're not going to school, in which you should be going to school. That should be your number one priority. I don't care what anyone says. School should be your priority. But even with that being said, and I will talk about this more in a separate video, how to fund your education, because the reality is a lot of people can't afford to go to school if they're in a situation like mine, for example, where your parents make enough money to where there is an expected contribution from them for your education, but they're not actually contributing that amount. So I was getting significantly less of what I needed for school and what I needed from financial aid, because on paper it looked like my family was well off. And I've since then learned that a lot of people lie on those forms. I didn't. I still don't. I just filled out the FAFSA recently for 2025, 2026. I, to this day, still don't lie on those forms, because the reality is we can think we all are getting away with stuff scot-free. You never know when discrepancies will be found. You never know when audits will happen. You never know when there is some reason why, out of all the names in the world and all the paperwork in the world, you never know if yours might end up being examined more closely. Like, you just never know. So I don't lie on stuff like that. I didn't lie, and because I didn't lie, I was not getting as much as I needed. Okay? What I was getting, I was so desperate to either have to live off of it or to save it or squirrel it away or whatever. It was just so many problems. It was so many. And so if you are in a similar situation, at the very least, you need to go to community college. And I know, I get it. It's not as fun to put community college on your bio. It's not as fun to be at a school that's not, out of state and far away from home. I get it. But the main thing that I can tell you, being older and having lived some life, don't allow your pride to trick you out of your resources, because the reality is this: you do not come from a background in which if you're watching this video, you do not have all the time in the world and all the resources in the world. And as unfortunate as it is, you really do have to be more mature and more understanding than the other people around you, because they have the luxury of living in fucking la la land. You don't have that. You just don't. I'm very proud that today I took my last exam to get my associate's degree, and I will be getting my associate's degree. I'm very proud of that, and I'm happy about it. But let's be honest. Do you think that I want to be in my mid-20s just now getting my associate's degree? Do you think that if I had had the resources and the family help and the connections to do this a lot sooner and a lot smoother, don't you think I would have done that? Okay, I rest my case. So this is for actually two different types of people. If you're on the side of, I don't think that I can do this stuff right now, and I feel like I'll never be able to do it, you're a lie. Because I just did it. I would have liked to do it sooner, but the reality is it still got done. So you can do it at any time in your life. But what I'm telling you is, it would benefit you the most the sooner that you can get it done. The sooner the better. That's just the point blank of it. So for the other side, for the people who are like, oh, I don't want to be in my mid-20s getting my first degree, whatever. By all means, judge me and let me be the example of what you don't want to be. Because the reality is, I saw what life was like without school, and the possibilities are extremely, significantly, exponentially better with it. Okay? So if you can't afford to go to a 4-year institution right now, or your family's income is inhibiting you from getting the amounts that you need, at the very least, get your associate's degree. Get your associate's degree. Get your associate's degree. Okay? I cannot stress that to you enough. At the very least, get your associate's degree. And if you already have a skill or something that you're interested in, study that, do that. Get it on paper that you know how to do this academically and that you have real world experience with it, okay? Life is hard. I don't say that to scare you. I don't say it to intimidate you. I don't say it to belittle you, because I'm sure by now, if you're watching this, you already know life is a little hard. But what I'm telling you is that adult hard is even worse. Okay? Adult hard is even worse. So I need you to be understanding. I need you to put your pride to the side. I need you to be mature. It's not fair that you have to be, but it's not about being fair. You're trying to figure out how to even the playing field. The only way to really do that is with your education and with money. If you're not making major money, which you're probably not right now, unless you know how to do hair, makeup, something like that, even then, how much money you can make is capped based on having credentials. So you need a credential in something. I can't stress this enough. I'm going to keep saying it. Please get a degree. Please get a 2-year degree. Please get an associate's degree. Don't give a what your friends are doing. I don't give a where they're going to school. Again, your friends have more privilege than you do. Your peers have more privilege than you do. They can afford to live in la land, and you don't have to hate on them because it's not their fault that their families actually provided for them and actually gave them help. That's not their fault. That's what was supposed to happen. It just so happens that you got the short end of the stick, and that isn't fair. What I'm asking you to do is not make your life any harder. Okay? Don't have any fucking kids. I don't have any kids. So I can scream that from the rooftops, and I'm going to say it as much as I want to. I don't give a shit what anybody is telling you. Because think about it. If you can't even afford an apartment, what would make you think having a child is like a smart thing to do right now? Can you please, it would behoove you to really sit down and think about that. Again, this is another situation where I don't care about peer pressure. I don't give a shit what your friends are doing. I don't care. Practically everyone I have ever known around my age almost has at least one child. And that's fine. I didn't buy into that shit because I saw very clearly that my life was already hard, and I wasn't about to sign up to make my life harder because everybody else is doing it. Maybe everybody else has a mom that will babysit their child. Maybe everybody else has a car that is not almost 20 years old. Maybe everybody else knows how to finesse these documents and get in these apartments or. And let's be clear, if you're already the black sheep of your family, they're not about to help you through pregnancy. They're not about to help you through raising a child. They don't even want to help you. So do you really think they're going to help you and your baby based off of how they already treat you? Don't bring a child into that mess. Whatever. And, they're not having to pay the same amount of rent. Don't do it. Don't do it. Even I would say, and honestly, I'm being generous, 23 and up. If you want to have a child and you've already gotten a credential and something, by all means, do you. But before that, don't do it. 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 Don't even put your. Don't even have. Don't even put yourself. Don't even put yourself in a position to risk having a child. Do not. Don't do it. Don't do it. If you do it, you better think long and hard. You better think. That's all I can tell you, because that is a permanent decision. Okay? And as much as I'm sitting here talking about, oh, I wish that I had gotten my degree sooner and blah, blah, blah. The reality is, no matter what, no matter how long it takes me to achieve my goals, no matter what, I'm glad that I don't have children. I'm very glad that I was smart on that. I'm very glad that I was aware of the fact. And I know there will be people in my comments like, well, I have kids and I'm still doing better than you. And I still did it. Good for you. I don't give a fuck. What you do does not affect me. Sorry. It's great that kids didn't stop you. But what I'm saying is that they're definitely not stopping me. Like, I'm not even risking it. Life is already hard. I've already been struggling. Why would I add to my struggle? If you can do it and you have the resources, you're you and I'm me, Charlene. You're you and I'm me. Get a credential. Preferably an associate's degree in something. Do not have children. Those are the two biggest pieces of advice I can give anybody who is struggling, who doesn't have the resources. Because let's be clear, all of us don't want to go to the damn military. Like, I don't know why people are so casual about it. Like, they're just so, have you thought about the military? Yeah. And I've thought about the fact that I really don't want to do that. Like, I really don't. I got so upset the other day. I was looking through scholarships. I accidentally clicked on a Navy thing. And it automatically signed me up to receive an email from these niggas. They were in my inbox a couple hours later or the next day. They were calling me. There's a reason why you can get more play from them than these civilian jobs. There's a reason you're going to get a call from them in one day, and it's harder to get somebody to talk to at jobs you've applied for. Oh yeah. It's not a coincidence. Everybody does not want to join the military, and everybody does not need to be in the military. So this really is a video for y'all because, again, I didn't do it. And I'm to an age now where it would be harder for me possibly to get in if I did decide to do it. That's why I'm glad I have my associate's degree. Very, very glad.